Evening tubers, KingGrimlock back once again for another Grimgram, and Friday night is of course import night. First off, a little bit of housekeeping and a big thank you to ZizzleRizzle8707 for his shout out video he did for me this week. As I've said before, to have someone say they enjoy your videos is an amazing feeling. To have someone make a video to encourage others to watch your videos is above and beyond. So thank you very much for that, sir. It's hugely appreciated. And welcome to all of my new subscribers once again. Thank you for joining us at Grimgrams. It's massively appreciated, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos and going back and watching the ones I've already done. Yeah, it's great to know that people are out there enjoying them, to be honest, because I'm enjoying making them, that's for sure. But on to tonight's subject for Import Night, we have music label Soundwave. Now, the music label was a very odd little label. There were only 3 molds actually made for it, even though there were 7 different toys released. Soundwave got 3 different colours. Convoy, Optimus Prime to you and I, got 3 different colours, and Rumble Frenzy, Frenzy Rumble, Rumbly Frenzy, Frenzy Rumbly, I can't remember which one's which, I'll be honest with you. The blue and red little dudes only got 1 release. They were white headphones for this guy, which I thought was very clever, very well done. Convoy was an iPod dock, came in white, original G1 colours, and some horrific red and yellow scheme that was just horrid. And Soundwave came in this version, which is his Spark Blue version, which is Generation 1 Soundwave version for you and I. And he also came in Blaster Black, which was Sound Blaster. Japanese fans will be well aware of who Sound Blaster is. And his white version, a very iPod-esque white version, which has since been repurposed into the Shattered Glass universe to be Shattered Glass Soundwave, which was a lovely touch. He also appeared in Transformers Animated, I do believe Human Error Part 1 or 2, I can't remember, but it's Human Error anyway, which was a very nice little appearance. Quite a shock as well when you first see that happen, you're like, ooh, it's device label, it's music label. Device label is, of course, the sequel to music label and features Ravage and Cheetor and Tigertron as USB sticks and Blaster as a USB hub. Finally announced he's going to be released again as well. Oh, he was cancelled just before Christmas and he's been announced he's going to be released, and Soundwave's finally got his nemesis back. Awesome. All we need is a steel jaw and a few other little of the cassettes as silly little things, and I'll be a very happy man. Anyway, shall we take a look at this toy before my nonsensical ramblings take us somewhere that we don't need to go? As you can see, he's a hugely faithful representation of his G1 self, right down to the colour scheme, the detailing all over. It's immense. I mean, it's so G1, it's just brilliant. And that's what you want from him, really, because he is the only thing we've had, or closest thing we've had to a classic Soundwave. Now, this guy is a lot smaller than the original G1 toy for a start. And I know a lot of people say that actually he's too small to be the classic Soundwave, but I will show you in robot mode those people are wrong and need to admit they are wrong. All of these buttons work. He is a working MP3 player. To show you that, there's his SD card slot. He takes 2 gig SD card. It's the only way you can make him work as an MP3 player. Not really a big one, and I wouldn't recommend having him as an MP3 player. I wouldn't recommend taking him out of the house, that's for sure. One thing to note straight away on how much effort has been put into this toy. If you look on the inside of the tape deck, you can see sculpt. That's not sticker, that is sculpting. It's also on the inside of the drawer. I mean, that is amazing. Okay, it can't take a Generation 1 cassette, but you know what? To have those little details sculpted inside just show how much the makers of this figure really cared about what they were doing. There isn't actually too much to say on this mode anyway, because it's nigh on perfect. It's a solid piece. There is very little giving away what it is. It slots together very well, very much like its G1 counterpart. Have to highlight the ball joints there. I mean, they're obvious, but you know, it's very solid. There isn't much that gives it away for what it is. And I love that. I love that about this, because the G1 Soundwave, a lot of people still say, is the best version of him. And to have one that is so closely representative to it is quite amazing. Oh, it's lovely. I do love this. Getting my hands on this toy is fantastic. Shall we take a look at his robot mode, and you can see what I mean about how lovely he is. And here we have music label Soundwave in his robot mode. And if that isn't an exceptional representation of Soundwave, Generation 1 Soundwave, I don't know what is. Everything about it is Soundwave. It's beautiful, down to the beautiful sculpting detail on the arm. I love this little representation of the power button. It's sculpted on both sides. It's lovely. Little details are lovely. And there's little details in things like the transformation as well. On here, you have a slide. So you go from where his arm starts. And let's be fair, they could have done that. That would have been fine. You would have accepted that. But no, they've put this sliding point in to bring the shoulders up and forward, to bring them halfway, to put them in the perfect position. I mean, stunning piece of work. Stunning. And the articulation is amazing. You've got ball joints on every part of the arm. You know, it's one at the shoulder, one on the bicep, one at the elbow. You've got 2 joints at the elbow. You know, you've got a ball joint, of course, in the hand as well. I mean, you can pretty much get this guy's arms to go anywhere, except for the position I'm actually trying to get him in now. There we go. You know, it does anything. Just amazing. I mean, the articulation, the level of doesn't carry into the legs as well. You've got ratcheted ball joints at the hips. You've got swivel and tilt at the knee and the thigh. Nothing below that. The toes do move in and out, and he's well supported at the back. So from the waist down, he isn't massively articulated, but because you've got this huge articulation on the top half, you can get him to do quite a lot of fantastic poses. Again, he still works as his MP3 in this mode, as you'd probably expect. You do have to detach the cannon, because the cannon is got a headphone slot on it. Ooh, come back here, man. Show you some of the detailing on that. I mean, you've got sculpted rockets, and painted rockets, and Destron Soundwave electric launcher written on the side. Very Japanese named attack modes. The launcher and the gun, his Destron Soundwave Wave Blaster, are 2 of the downsides. Downsides, 2 of the minor niggles, and very minor niggles this guy has. Because of the fact that he is a working MP3 player, the battery slot on the back takes a battery, unsurprisingly, whereas Generation 1 Soundwave, of course, took his weaponry. So those weapons actually have to come separate. You have to put them somewhere else, which is a pain when he's in MP3 mode, to be honest. The other problem is, this guy comes with 3 sets of hands. Excellent, you say. Well, the only ones that actually fit into his MP3 mode are the closed fists. So if you want to have him holding a weapon when he's in robot mode, or pressing his tape deck down with his little finger extended, then you actually have to have the separate fists with you, which again does away with the fact that he is a MP3 player. Not a problem if you're like me and you just display him as a display piece and have never used him as an MP3 and won't use him as an MP3. But it's a silly little niggle, but it's typically Japanese, to be honest, the extra parts. Because you can't have articulated fingers, let's give him extra hands to cover the articulation. The head's a minor problem. It's on a spring. It doesn't like to come all the way up, but it's that's on a ball joint as well. And it seems a little small. I don't know. Something about it just seems a little small. It's got no light piping as well, which comes as a bit of a surprise, to be honest. I mean, I can't gush about this enough. This bit at the back, you can see where, the plastic, that almost comes across as a bit lazy, that they haven't tidied that up a bit more. But when you consider everything else is so tightly done, you can understand why they do that. He does have a little bit of back kibble in that he's got a little bit of leftover plastic, but nothing major. And, as I promised, to show you what this guy does, this guy is so classic Soundwave that you can't really dispute that he fits in with the Classics line, Classics Universe line, brilliantly. Meg's just a little bit too big there. He could do with it being a little bigger, but realistically, he's perfect for the line, and he's more articulated than most of the line as well. He is probably a better toy than just about anything in the Classics Universe line, and he's a working MP3 player.